Hey everybody, I'm Samurai Sam, and welcome to a very special guest episode of Unsealed. And if you don't know what Unsealed is, it is a show created by my buddy Peter Scarrett, in which he takes a video game from a previous console generation that is new, sealed, hopefully never been opened, could be a reseal. But he opens it up, checks it out, looks at what's in the inside, talks about it, see what the game came with brand new, and he talks about the game itself and his own experiences with it. And it's a great show. I think he's done close to 200 episodes now, so if you've never seen it, go check it out. You got a lot of catching up to do. And what's going on with this video here is I actually had a sealed game of my own that I wanted to give him to open up on the show. But then I thought, I think it'd be fun to shoot an episode myself. And turns out Peter had a sealed game of the same series, and he decided to just give it to me and gave me his blessing to film this episode. So thanks a lot, Pete. I really appreciate it. And these two games happen to be baseball games, and with the 2022 MLB lockout recently ending and excitement for the new season growing higher, I thought it would be a good time to do it. So here we are. And without further ado, well, this is not a sealed game, obviously. This is a loose Super Famicom cartridge, but our story starts here. In 1994, Konami released Jikyo Powerful Pro Yaku 94. And baseball is arguably the most powerful sport in Japan. Powerful, I said, because the powerful's in the title. Popular sport in Japan, that's what I meant to say. Yaku is, of course, the Japanese word for baseball. And the series is well known for this very distinct cartoony character style. Now, the game uses real players from NPB, Nippon Professional Baseball, which is the highest league of baseball over in Japan. And it wound up being a huge success, and it spawned a series which is basically Japan's equivalent of the Madden series over here in America, where Konami makes a new edition of the series every single year with roster updates at the very least, if not new modes, new graphics when applicable, all that kind of stuff. And it's still going to this very day. Konami still creates games in this series for modern platforms like Switch and PS4. The series is known for a variety of modes, most notably the success mode, where you bring up a young, I think usually created player up through the ranks all the way up to the highest level. And it's comparable to certain modes we see in game series like Madden over here in the States. But yes, this is, I think this is probably the most popular, definitely one of the most popular series of sports video games in Japan. In fact, for GameCube and PS2, Konami made this crossover fighting game like Smash Brothers called Dream Mix TV World Fighters, with characters like Bomberman, Simon Belmont, and Optimus Prime, believe it or not. And they actually had a generic, I believe, player from the Pro Yaku series as a playable character. That's how popular it is. But the series has never really had that much of a following in America, and part of that's understandable because nobody really here in America follows the NPB. And there's never been like a translation patch for any of the powerful Pro Yaku games. And so it's kind of unfortunate. There isn't really like a convenient YouTube video or an article online that really describes the series. And so like I never played them. I wish I could tell you more about them and what makes them great. They seem like quality games from what I have seen. I know they have a lot of announcing, like the 16-bit games had a lot of more voice work than the average 16-bit baseball game. But eventually, in the mid-2000s, specifically for the 2006 season, Konami got the license to Major League Baseball, and they created Powerful, I believe it was called Powerful Major League, for GameCube and PS2. And there was just one problem, and that is that game did not come out in America. It was only in Japan, which is kind of weird. Why would you get the MLB license and then not release it in America? I don't get it. But thankfully, that license wound up going on for 4 years, so we were a lot more lucky the second year when we got MLB Power Pros, the first time that the series ever crossed over the ocean. And we got to experience what all those Japanese people have enjoyed for so many years. And so this is for the 2007 season, came out after the 2006 season ended. And PS2 and Wii. Of course, the first game, as I mentioned, came out for GameCube, but Wii was new and GameCube died pretty much right when the Wii came out, so naturally it was a no-brainer to release this on the Wii. The Wii version has a few more features, such as playing as Mii characters, and it has like a home run derby mode where you can use the Wii remote. I don't know if there's any particular advantage to the PS2 version. You can also use like I think you can use a GameCube controller on the Wii version. I could be wrong about that. I think maybe only on the sequel, which we're going to talk about later. But yeah, I think for the most part, the Wii version is just straight up preferable. But anyway, this version is actually my own original copy that is opened, so we're not really going to be looking at that too much. We're going to be looking at this sealed PS2 copy that Pete gave me. This is one take. I really hope I don't stutter over my words and I don't know, say something embarrassing. But yeah, this is the take that is going to be uploaded for better or worse. Here we go. But anyway, well, first let's look at the back of the box. It actually has two languages, which is interesting, both English and French. So I don't know if this is specifically a Canadian print or if all copies of the game had this. The Wii version actually only has English. At first I thought, well, do French-speaking people care about baseball? And then I remembered, oh yeah, Quebec had the Montreal Expos. Of course, the Expos were out of town by the time this game came out, but I don't know, maybe there is enough of a following in Quebec for this French language to be justified. But yes, incredibly deep game action with season and success modes. Yes, that's what I mentioned before. The success mode, you go behind the scenes to control entire franchises or individual players. A lot of different modes to play. If you boot up this game, you will just see a whole big menu full of buttons, things you can do. You can see a screenshot from one of the simulation modes. I assume that's success mode, or I think it's called My Life as well. Or maybe they're two different things, probably. I don't know. So I am going to open this baby up. And we've got a couple stickers on here. I don't know who put those stickers on, what they mean, what store this was originally from, but doesn't matter now. They're coming off. It's got the MLB license little silvery sticker on here. That's cool. Let's take a look inside. We've got color on the disc. Not too much going on the disc. Mostly just blue with a baseball behind the logo. Manual looks pretty cool, though. It's rather thick. I was remarking before on my open Wii copy how thick the manual is, and this one also looks pretty thick. Interesting that 2K Sports actually published this. They have a series of their own. I guess they figured this one was different enough and cartoony enough that it wouldn't compete with their other baseball games. But anyway, if we look in here, I'm opening up the manual backwards for some reason. It's got one of those color schemes going on where they kind of change the color of the page depending on what section you're in, which is cool. Man, I miss instruction manuals. Not only were they cool and fun to flip through, but they just were practical. There's so much quality information on here. These pages are just jam-packed with all kinds of information on how to play the game and what each mode is, and that's really cool. And you got here, this is really cool, Major League Baseball team introduction, which shows all the teams on 2 pages with a little description about the team and their, I guess, their history, depending on which one. Pretty cool, very cool stuff. Yeah, I think that's probably about all you need to say about the manual. There's definitely, well, I think you can customize your experience with Power Pros quite a bit, but it is known for having characters that will be in different, I guess, moods or conditions, and that will affect their performance on the field. So you can get really in depth with these games, and seems like a really good time. But weird part is that back in the day, I did not play these games. So what's strange is that I was at the absolute height of my baseball fandom when this happened. Literally 2006. I got so into baseball. Before I had known the players, I had collected baseball cards and I knew stuff about the sport, but I didn't really watch it that much. Then 2006, I got so hooked on watching my Boston Red Sox. Fortunately, they didn't have that great of a year that year, but I wound up picking up MVP Baseball 2005 that year, and I just fell in love with that game. I played so many hours of MVP 2005, and I wonder if that maybe in hindsight is part of the reason why I didn't wind up buying Power Pros. I didn't have all the money in the world, and I was so into MVP 2005 that I just didn't have room for another baseball game. Maybe that's why. But then, the following year, we got MLB Power Pros 2008. And, by the way, these players on the cover are not generic players. These are actual Major League Baseball players from the time represented in chibi form. Same goes with this cover as well. You've got players like, I think Ryan Howard is here. We've got, that looks like probably Matt Holland. No, that's Seattle, so that's Ichiro. I did actually see a list of what these names are, but I don't remember them offhand. I think that's supposed to be Daisuke Matsuzaka, Vladimir Guerrero here, that's A-Rod, that's Ivan Rodriguez, Pudge Rodriguez for Detroit at the time. And here, some of these are kind of obvious, this is really obviously K-Rod, also known as Francisco Rodriguez of the Angels, because of the glasses and everything. Other characters look a little more generic, but they are, in fact, representing real Major League players. You got Josh Beckett from my own Boston Red Sox. Yeah, this edition of the game came out right after my own Red Sox won the World Series. I was very, very excited, and I'd followed them all year very closely. But yeah, I did not buy this game. I feel kind of bad for that in hindsight. I think I would have really enjoyed it. But the good news is I'm still alive. I can enjoy it now, and I looking forward to definitely looking forward to spending some time with these games at some point. It's looking at the back of Power Pros 2008 here. You got Manny Ramirez at the plate, and you got a couple other players as well. You got who's that? Chipper Jones actually says screenshots. Chipper Jones, Jose Reyes. And then you got Brandon Webb facing off against Lance Berkman here. Yes, I remember all of these players. I was just such a baseball nerd back then. But yes, this is not the price I paid for it. I actually got this for hardly anything on eBay when I was just looking for any old copy of the game. It just so happens that I got this sealed copy. Got warnings, security device enclosed. Wonder if I'm going to set off an alarm when I open this. But anyway, yeah, this one you definitely can use GameCube controllers. So that's cool. This is probably the definitive Power Pros game. For we only got 2 of them. I should say, here's what I should say. This is probably the definitive Power Pros game for right now at the moment for an American gamer to play, because unfortunately the newest Power Pros games, there is a language barrier involved. Navigating the menus and the different modes and everything is just not very English friendly. And so if you want to play a Power Pros game, I'm sure Power Pros 2008 on the Wii specifically is probably the way to go. There is a PS2 version of this, but I do not own it. And it is now free, out of its packaging. And, ooh, you got a shiny looking disc here, a little bit different than before. Actually, let me look at the Power Pros 1 disc on the Wii. Yeah, it is blue, much like its PS2 counterpart. But this one is like, I think glossy is the right word. And I kind of like it. I think it works well. It's kind of meant to be a baseball. And the manual looks very similar. Actually looks like it has a little crease on here, like as if someone I don't know, it looks like a little imperfection. Like someone had opened it already. I don't think I did that just now. Probably someone before in the factory might have done it. I don't know. Or maybe this is a resale. I don't know. If I look at the disc, actually, let me look at the disc here and see what condition it's in. It looks pretty mint to me, so I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things. So manual looks about the same as the PS2 manual. You got the color scheme here, different colors for different sections of the manual. Only one language, only English, no French, no Spanish, except for the warnings in the back, I think. Oh no, even that seems to be only English. Okay. Just a lot of stuff about how to play the game. Again, a lot of modes, a lot of things to know about this game going in. So rather thick manual, and just like the previous game, there is a couple of pages where you can look at all the Major League teams and a little write-up about each team. Let me just see, I'm really curious if these are just the same as in the previous game, the descriptions of the teams, or if these are brand new. If I pull this out, I will see... yeah, it looks like they are, if not, yeah, looks like they're not quite identical, but they are very similar. Like, it seems like they just mostly tweaked them. So, like, for example, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays changed to the Tampa Bay Rays in between these 2 games, so they had to change that a little bit. But, yeah, a lot of these are very, very similar, just not exactly the same. And I think that's about all I have to say about Power Pros 2008. Unfortunately, these games did not sell well, and I was part of the problem because I didn't buy these, and I feel kind of bad about that now. And this was sadly the very last Power Pros game that we would see in the States. And what's very interesting as well is that there was one more Major League Power Pros game based on Major League Baseball in America, and it came out the following year in 2009 on the Wii and PS2, but it stayed in Japan again, just like the first one. Very weird. And I'm actually very interested in acquiring that game because it is, I think, one of the very few baseball games that has ever existed that has World Baseball Classic mode. Yeah, every few years, there's a competition called the World Baseball Classic in real life where different countries compete. It's kind of like the World Cup in soccer. And very few baseball games have actually implemented it, and Power Pros 2009 is one of them, but I'm going to have to import it. I don't have it yet to show you on this episode. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on it someday because there's just not a lot of videos on Power Pros in general. But anyway, this has been a very special guest episode of Unsealed. Pete, if you're watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope anyone else watching has also really enjoyed. I hope you're encouraged to check out more episodes of Unsealed or Power Pros games. Thanks again, Pete, for lending me this Power Pros on PS2. And without further ado, I guess I'm just going to wrap things up here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Be excellent to each other. This has been Samurai Sam. I'm signing off. See you later.